All right, the Bulldogs are back on the practice field. Mark Rogers TV talking some Georgia football. We bring in Savannah Lee from Bulldog Illustrated. Savannah, how you doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, and I think we're all happy to have some kind of college football. It's really not college football, but at least the guys are on the field, and we've got something to report on at some point because it's such a long off season. I think we all miss college football. So for the Bulldogs, if we focus on the defense, because there's really nothing to talk about concerning what's happened in spring practice yet. They've only been at it for a couple of days and really just put on the pads. So looking at this defense, there's a lot of potential here because we got a head coach in place that focuses on defense. That's his genius in Kirby Smart. And then we've got 10 of 11 starters coming back from a defense that was 16th in the nation in total yards given up. So they were strong last year and could be even better this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think that this defense is just growing stronger daily. And especially with Lorenzo Carter and Davin Bellamy returning for their senior seasons, I think those are two guys that will definitely make an impact this year. They're both speaking to them this past Tuesday. Lorenzo Carter in particular, he was just going on and on about how hungry the team is and how hungry they are to get out and, hit somebody, especially like you said, on this long off season. But someone else to mention is Trent Thompson. He was one of the top 3 leading tacklers, I believe, for Georgia last season. And towards the beginning of the offseason, he kind of got hurt with his shoulder and he had surgery. And then, the whole little situation about a month or so ago. But he is back on campus rehabbing that shoulder, and hopefully that by summer ball he'll be back. But going on, like you said, this defense is talented. There's so many defense. There's got Trent with your bread and butter for your defensive line, but then you also have John Atkins, Daquan Hopkins-Muckle, and then you have Jonathan Ledbetter and Julian Rochester. Now, Julian Rochester is definitely somebody that fans need to keep an eye out. He was a freshman last year. He got a few games under his belt, and he improved all season long. Now, he looks like he has dropped some weight and kind of like leaned out a little bit, and yesterday that the guys and stuff were just like how quick he was and how off the snap and everything like that. He just has completely improved and worked on that. Going to the linebackers, you have DeAndre Walker, Raquan Smith. He's actually hurt right now. He tore his pectoral muscle during a workouts about probably a month ago or two. And then you have Natrez Patrick, Reggie Carter, and then, of course, Lorenzo Carter and Davin Bellamy. DeAndre Walker is definitely somebody to keep an eye out for, too. He was one of the leading guys last season, and he's only getting better and stronger. Natrez Patrick as well. He's a big guy, and that's he just impresses me. Just looking at his film and just looking from last season and how big he is this season, it's just really impressive. And then, of course, the defensive backs. Georgia lost Maurice Smith to graduation or whatever, but they're returning Malcolm Parrish, Dominic Sanders, Aaron Davis are probably the 3 senior leaders. Rashad Roundtree is another guy that played back there, and DeAndre Baker is another guy that played back there last season. Baker in particular, I like that kid's fire. He towards the beginning of last season, he was told by coaching staff and stuff like that, hey kid, you're gonna have to try. You're gonna have to put forth some effort. And after that, the coaches kind of like pushed him a little bit. Baker just kind of took over. He increased his workouts. He just kind of was like, all right, you gave me motivation, so here I go. I think he's definitely going to be somebody to look for this season. But something really interesting to note is true freshman D'Angelo Gibbs from the 2017 class. He was an early enrollee. He was taking most of first snaps yesterday at that star position that Maurice Smith was doing. And so I think that's really something to look at because he's a true freshman coming in, and Kirby Smart is like, okay, and I see some potential there. Beko Harmon is another guy from 2016. He didn't really play at all last year. He was kind of there to learn the playbook and mold. And I think that's one guy that Georgia will see on the field a lot more this season. But the defense is loaded with a lot of young talent, a lot of veterans and stuff like that. It's definitely going to be a defense that teams need to worry about.
Yeah, Dominic Sanders has always been one of my favorites. Obviously, he's been extremely productive, 12 interceptions in his career. Trent Thompson's a guy that we last saw with 3 sacks in the bowl game against TCU. That was mighty impressive. Hopefully he can get back on the field, get those things behind him. Lorenzo Carter's a guy that seems like he's been around the program for like 10 years, not 3 to 4 years. And obviously he came in as a big splash in the recruiting process and has been pretty productive. But we haven't seen that one just mammoth season that we know he's capable of. And maybe 2017 is the year for a defense that, again, 16th in the nation in total yardage given up per game, playing in the SEC. Pretty impressive. 40th in the nation at 24 points per ball game.